Number 1. The first billion. You discover the pattern at 6:23 a.m. on a Thursday in March, reading SEC filings in a hotel room in Singapore. Bill Gates spent $127 million in 2023 on climate technology investments that will take 18 years to show returns. Jeff Bezos purchased a $68 million Gulfstream G700 and flew it 14 times to visit Blue Origin facilities. Mackenzie Scott gave away $436 million to 465 organizations in 90 days, processed through an LLC you had never heard of until you started tracking the money. The numbers arrive in fragments: tax documents, regulatory filings, property records, flight logs purchased from data brokers. You assemble them into patterns. What you thought would be yachts and mansions becomes something else entirely. They are not spending money the way you spend money scaled up. They are operating mechanisms you did not know existed. Number 2. The invisible infrastructure. You spend $4,200 a year on a gym membership and think it is expensive. Larry Ellison spent $288 million building a private wellness campus in Malibu with 16 full-time physicians, cryotherapy chambers, hyperbaric oxygen facilities, and diagnostic equipment that does not exist in hospitals. The campus runs at a $41 million annual operating loss. He does not care. Mark Zuckerberg employs 24 people whose only job is managing his personal security logistics across 4 properties. Their combined salary is $8.7 million. One person's entire role is advancing to restaurants 3 hours before he arrives to security sweep the kitchen. You learn that billionaires do not have assistants. They have chief of staff positions that pay $480,000 annually plus equity. These people manage teams. The teams manage vendors. The vendors manage the actual task of existence. Someone worth $40 billion has 60 people between them and the person who books their dentist appointment. Number 3, the allocation problem. Mackenzie Scott's team processes 12,000 grant applications monthly. She gives money away faster than her investment returns generate it, which means her wealth increases anyway. In 2024, she donated $1.7 billion, and her net worth grew by $3.2 billion. The math breaks. You watch her team develop an algorithm to identify high-impact organizations, then hire 40 people to verify the algorithm's choices. Because algorithmic giving feels dystopian. The verification team costs $11 million annually. She is spending millions to give away billions she cannot stop accumulating. Meanwhile, Elon Musk buys Twitter for $44 billion, using $13 billion in leveraged loans that cost $1.2 billion yearly in interest payments. The interest alone could fund $250,000 salaries. He fires 6,400 people in the first month. The fired employee's annual payroll was $640 million. The interest payment is nearly double that. The money is not the constraint. The money has never been the constraint. Number 4. The compound mechanisms. You find a property record in Kauai. Mark Zuckerberg spent $270 million acquiring 1,400 acres, then spent another $180 million building a 57,000 square foot compound with an underground shelter, self-sustaining water and power systems, and a private security staff of 18. The shelter construction required 4,600 cubic yards of concrete and took 26 months. He visits 6 times a year. The property staff remains employed full-time at an operational cost of $23 million annually. The math creates $38,000 per visit in staffing costs alone, not counting construction amortization. You discover this is normal. Billionaires maintain properties they occupy 11 days per year. They staff homes they visit once. The homes are not investments. They are optionality. The ability to decide at 10 p.m. on a Tuesday to be in New Zealand by Thursday and have a fully operational household waiting. You calculate what optionality costs. For someone worth $80 billion, Maintaining $600 million in underutilized property costs 0.75% of net worth. You spend 31% of your income on rent for a place you sleep in every night. Number 5. The proxy layers. Michael Bloomberg employs a staff of 140 people managing his personal life, not his business, not his philanthropic foundation, his personal existence. 22 people work on his properties. 18 people manage his travel logistics. 14 people handle his personal security. 12 people coordinate his personal investments outside Bloomberg LP. The rest occupy roles you cannot categorize because they do not match any job you understand. Someone makes $340,000 yearly as Director of Principal Lifestyle Integration. You read the job description 3 times. It means scheduling. It means making sure the person who manages his calendar talks to the person who manages his properties, who talks to the person who manages his travel, who talks to the person who manages his security. The integration itself requires a director-level position because the complexity of coordinating 140 people serving one person creates enough work for another full-time role. You find an invoice. His team spent $89,000 on a consultant to optimize his morning routine. The consultant worked for 6 weeks. The routine now saves him 11 minutes daily. At his hourly value, those 11 minutes generate $47,000 daily in reclaimed productive time. The consultant paid for itself in 48 hours. This is what optimization means at scale. Number 6, the allocation paradox. Bill Gates gives away $5.8 billion yearly through the Gates Foundation, which employs 1,800 people at a $600 million operational cost. For every $10 donated, $1.03 goes to the staff managing the donation. You learn this is considered extremely efficient. Most foundations spend $1.40 per $10 granted. His foundation has spent $58 billion since 2000. His current net worth is $124 billion. He has given away more than he currently has and still has more than when he started. You map the mechanism. His wealth lives in a trust that owns Cascade Investment, which manages $80 billion across sectors. Cascade returns 11.4% annually. The foundation can only distribute 5% of assets yearly by law. The appreciation outpaces the mandatory distribution. Giving money away at the legally required maximum rate still grows the pile. You realize he is not deciding how much to give. He is deciding how to give away the minimum while appearing to give away the maximum. The constraint is not generosity. The constraint is finding enough legally compliant distribution channels to prevent wealth accumulation from becoming a reputational problem. Number 7, the mechanism itself. You spend 3 months analyzing Jeff Bezos's expenditure patterns. In 2023, he spent $42 million on a property in Indian Creek Island he never visits. $68 million on a private jet he uses 89 times. $11 million on household staff across 6 residences. $23 million on personal security. $6 million on Lauren Sanchez's production company, and $500 million on a yacht with a support yacht. Total documented personal spending, $650 million. His net worth increased by $47 billion the same year. The spending is 1.4% of the yearly gain, not total wealth. You could multiply his personal expenditure by 30, and it would still be rounding error on annual appreciation. Someone worth $160 billion, earning 7% returns, generates $30,630 per day in appreciation. That number is not a typo. The interest on the interest. He makes your annual salary every 4.7 hours in passive index fund level returns. And that is before accounting for the fact that his wealth is not in index funds, but in equity positions that appreciate faster. You stop comparing the spending to anything in your life because the comparison breaks. You are spending money. He is directing the reallocation of self-replicating abstraction. Number 8. The terminal position. You finish the analysis on a Sunday in November. The data fills 847 pages. You have tracked $4.2 billion in documented billionaire spending across 14 individuals over 18 months. The spending falls into patterns. 31% goes to property acquisition and maintenance for underutilized assets. 24% goes to staff managing personal existence. 18% goes to transportation infrastructure and logistics. 12% goes to security and privacy. 9% goes to philanthropy, structured for tax optimization. 6% goes to everything else, which includes art, cars, jewelry, the things people imagine billionaires spend money on. You realize they are not buying things. They are building parallel infrastructure, private medical systems, private security forces, private transportation networks, private food supply chains at some properties that maintain farmland and livestock for a single household. They are spending money to remove themselves from dependence on any system they do not control. The spending is not consumption. It is secession. You write the final section at 2:34 a.m. Someone worth $100 billion, spending $500 million annually on personal existence, is spending 0.5% of their wealth. You spend 40% of your income maintaining a life that still depends on public roads, commercial flights, grocery stores, hospitals, all the shared systems. They spend a smaller percentage to depend on nothing they do not own. The money is not making them more connected to the world. It is making them completely independent of it. You close the document. The analysis is finished. The machine continues. Somewhere, someone's net worth increases by another $8 million while they sleep. Tomorrow, you will start tracking how they spend it. There is always more spending. The accumulation never stops. The only question is what they build with it while the numbers grow.